with every single day. Um, and it's not easy, that's what they would say. They add the O at the end. It's not easy, and life is not easy, and they come to work every single day, for the most part with good attitudes. And so we set aside time every day for pouring into them. This is specifically as a weekly event we call Wisdom Wednesdays, where we do professional development. And you can see some of the topics that we've gone over, ranging from efficiency and productivity to record keeping. Anna did a good presentation or workshop with them where she spoke really fast about a lot of things that were going on the farm, and then did anybody ask questions about what happened on the farm? And of course no one could know. But then we started to let people take records, and people started to remember things and know things. And so that's record keeping is really important for us because we're a research institution, but it's not something that's commonly done. We talked about the amount of people that are illiterate. There's also I guess people don't have the knack for just getting a pen out and writing things down as much. They don't have the knack for even reading signs as much. It's just not something that's common in Liberia. So record keeping is one of our challenges and something that we're working on. We want our guys to be more involved in every part of what we're doing. And so we want them to learn, and one thing that we want them to help with is marketing and looking at the business side of their areas. They each are in control of a different area, and we want them to feel like they have ownership of that, because they do, because if they weren't there, nothing would get done. So they need to take ownership of that. And so I for profit calculations, I went through a actual real example for them where we were buying feed, and we had this one feed that we could buy locally, and we had a feed that we could buy that was not local, but it was cheaper. And then we had to calculate also the use of the vehicle to go get it, because it wasn't local, and the use of the driver to get it, and we did the profit calculations right together with everybody to figure out what the decision was that we were going to make. Which, forget about the profit calculations and the math, figuring out that looking at things, keeping records and really thinking about things can make a huge difference in the decisions that we make are important. And then we talk about also their families, and we talk through the things that are going on in their homes as well. We want to be there to support them. And everybody has different things going on, and so it can be overwhelming, but when we do it together and as a team like this, it's important. Every morning, I did say that we do it daily. Every morning we start the day with God. We start the day with a song that says, "In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus." Every single day. And
does everyone know that song? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, otherwise Nathan would sing it for you.
No. We don't need to do that. So we start the morning with that song, and we're sort of on a balcony. Behind is the swamp, and we like to say that we have the goal of singing so loudly that the people can hear us on the other side of the swamp. And then we dive into the Word. Last year, if you remember, we went through Psalms. And this year, we went through Proverbs, Matthew, Mark, Hosea. And we really dive in deeply. We don't like to go too fast. And we give people the opportunity to speak and to lead. And a lot of them have never really had that. I'll give you an example. Our warehouse manager, and he's becoming our bookkeeper because he's a really trustworthy guy. Albert, everybody calls him pastor now, and it's not because he is actually a pastor. It's simply because he had the opportunity to speak and to lead us in devotion through the Word. And he's now jumps at the opportunity to do it. He now is one of our devotion leaders that are always doing it, and he loves to do it. And I think truly he could be a pastor if he really wanted to be a pastor of a church.
Really quiet.
Yeah, and he's a quiet guy. He's a very quiet guy. But in this devotion, we start the day off right, and we become wiser, and we become closer together. We always end with prayer requests, and prayer requests in Liberia can be chaotic sometimes, or can be unknown. You don't know what's going to be said or what's going to be happen, but it's okay because I've learned to. I'm telling this to myself. I've learned to say that this is okay because this is life. You know, some things to me are almost embarrassing that it was said, and I've realized this is their life. This is what we're talking about, and what they're going through. We want to be going through as well. And so when something's said, we can pray about it, but it's also something that each and every one of us, all of us colleagues that are working together, can remember. And in our daily work, we can, if we're near them, we can mention it. We can say something to them. We can, or just say, we love you, or we're supporting you in any way.
Another big part of what we do is host visitors and guests, and we have a lot of, I think we had over 2,000 students coming all throughout the country, university students coming from some of the top universities around us. We've had high school students, we've had little tiny elementary school students show up, 200 of them at a time. We didn't know they were coming. We adjust, and I remember these guys too. I think these boys were middle schoolers, and they showed up one day in the afternoon, and I said, I thought school was on break this week, and they said it is, but we're an after school science club. And I asked them, how did you get here? They said we walked. And I looked at their shirts and I said, which high school are you from? And it's at least an hour and a half walk from that high school. And they said, well, we heard about the agriculture program here. We wanted to learn. We're here. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to say no to that. Let's start walking around. And so it's really encouraging to have all these guests here, and to be a resource for them, to see new types of agriculture, for them to see how exciting and fascinating it is, to see that there's a potential future in this for them, and for them to be able to use this to help their communities. We also have a lot of foreign guests as well. I think we've had probably over 30 people come and visit in the past year. We've had pastors come, we've had teachers come, we've had farmers, we've had business guys, all kinds of different people. We've had students from the U.S. come. And so that's a big part of what we do too. We don't always know everything that's planned out for them before they come, because sometimes we are literally just serving as a place to sleep. And so it's cool to be there and to witness and to serve them as they are going out and serving the communities and using their gifts and talents in how God called them to be there. This is Rich. He comes a couple times a year. He's a carpenter, and so he works with our friend Tamba a lot, doing woodworking on the campus. And they're really trying to find ways to work with more young people and teach them more skills that they can use so that they can have an income for their families. If any of you guys have ever thought about visiting, I just wanted to put this out there. We would love to have you. There's opportunities, like I said, for everybody. So if that's ever been something, rolling around in your mind, feel free to reach out to us.
It doesn't matter what you think you can do or can't do. You're welcome. And also we have a philosophy with Hope in the Harvest, with our mission, is that we are here to make sure that you guys are taken care of too, any of our visitors too. So we want it to be a good visit and a fruitful visit as well. So please come. So our plan for the future. So we're going back. We are going back probably sometime in the middle of August or end of August, and we don't know for how long. I remember last year in my head and to some of you guys as well, probably, I was pretty adamant, no, we're coming home. We're coming home. But I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my faith and who I am. Jeremiah 10:23-24 says, Lord, I know that a person's life is not his own. No one is able to plan his own course, so correct me, Lord, but please be gentle. I learned two things there. I learned that my life is not my own. And I learned that in denying the ideas of even looking at the ideas of staying and continuing this work that I knew that I loved, and the people that I loved there, I was denying a little bit of God. I was denying God and who I am. And then the second part was important to me as well. So correct me, Lord, but please be gentle. So I have for a long time thought that I needed to hear God's voice. I don't know, does anybody relate to that? It's so frustrating sometimes. And in the last maybe 8 years of my life, we've done a lot of discerning on what to do next, or what do we do with this decision and in this situation. And it's been difficult because we've been looking for that voice, and I realize here that he's going to correct me even if I'm wrong, and hopefully it's a little bit of a nudge. Okay, hopefully it's just a nudge to get me going in the right direction, and rather than a push and a shove. But the fact that he's going to correct me reminds me too that I'm his child, and he loves me, and he loves us. And when we have big decisions to make, he wants us to. He will also give us the desires of our heart. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And he has done that for me, and I know he's done that for some of you guys as well. We love what we're doing, and we found purpose where we are, and it's using our skills and the things that we know. It's the intersection of our faith and our love for food production, an intersection of food and faith, where we're happy to be. And he's put that in our heart, and he's helped us to find joy with that. But if he needs to correct me, and correct us, that's where we're going to be ready for that. And how can we not find joy when we get to speak his word, and we get to live with people and do life with people, and with the main message being this one from Romans, and all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. And that's joy to me that cannot be taken away for any day-to-day frustrations, or for any difficulties living in a different culture. We get to say this to other people. We get to reach out and bring this message, but we also get to have this message brought to us by our colleagues and the people working with us, both Liberian and expats, and other missionaries, and it's a joy.
Okay, so some of the things that we'll be doing are overseeing the continued growth of the chocolate business, which I'm going to get to in a hot second there, because I know everyone is always asking me about that. We're going to continue to do more trainings on value-added agriculture. A big emphasis for us over the past few years has been not just teaching people agriculture, but profitable agriculture. Because when I talk to farmers and I ask them, are you making money? And they tell me no, that's a problem. You know, we have farmers that are growing food, but they are themselves hungry, And so that's why we are really trying to focus on this idea of profitable agriculture. How can they do something that makes sense within the economy? Because of all the aid and free food that has come into the country over the years and kind of continues to come, some of those economic systems are broken. It's really hard for farmers to grow food that competes with free. So we are always trying, and that's changing. The aid and the free food that was there directly after the war, there was a need for that. But now as the country moves past that and grows past that, we need to find more ways to grow those things in the country and provide jobs in the country. I'll also continue to be teaching the courses that I love there. We are working to recruit and train high quality teachers and even department heads. Right now I'm serving as like acting department head. We are hoping that when Jacob comes back from Israel, we can kind of help him step into that position, because that's not something that, you know, we want to create a little empire where we're just overseeing everything forever. All of our goals here in the Wisdom Wednesdays that we do with our staff is always trying to develop them so that they can grow and take this on and lead this. And so we're also going to be working at what other businesses are our students starting, how can we help them with those, and of course overseeing a lot of research projects there. So one of the big things that we are going to be working with is this chocolate business. So I just want to play this video, let you see how that's all kind of come to be, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. Those are cocoa pods.
I see the way that Liberia is going to use the cocoa beans not to export it raw, but to turn it into an end product that will make us to generate more money than just exporting the cocoa beans raw. And the biggest dream that I have for this chocolate business is to see us exporting the chocolate out of this country. I want to see the industry grow. I want to see the chocolate business working with a lot of machines, modern machines, and to see that Liberia will be able to export what they grow. What excites me about this chocolate business is I've seen that the chocolate business is bringing up youth together to work and be able to raise income for themselves, to also help Liberia to build the economic system of this nation. I have learned a lot of things since I started producing chocolate. I have learned management skill, to manage money. I learned how to work with people. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to look at the cocoa beans and grade it. I got involved when I signed up for a course called food processing and preservation. And during the final test, my instructor asked me to do the final project, which I decided to produce chocolate. And after the course, my supervisor, Kunan Drumwe, was very excited by seeing chocolate to be produced in Liberia. So he was behind me that, Joshua, we need to produce chocolate on a very large scale. Chocolate will fetch up money and we will be able to help ourselves. So he keep on encouraging me and start working with cocoa beans, producing chocolate on a very small scale and selling to students around here on the campus and other citizens of Ghana. As we go on, chocolate business get to become famous in Ghana and also in Monrovia. So we started producing chocolate on a very large scale and then sending it to Monrovia instead of Ghana alone. We encourage people to buy Raleigh Bean chocolate because it is Liberian made chocolate. You get the cocoa bean from right here, Liberia, and it is 100% Liberian grown cocoa, and it's made by Liberian students from Liberia International Christian College. By buying this chocolate that's made right here in Liberia, you are supporting your students, you are supporting the economy of Liberia. So it will be interesting for us to buy the chocolate that is made in Liberia in order to see Liberia economy to grow and support our students to be able to pay their school fee and become a better future leaders for Liberia.